And also, as far as being licensed, I believe that there was only one person, say from a salon of half a dozen people, had to be studying for that NVQ. It didn't mean that every technician had to be studying for that NVQ, just one person from the salon. So to me that just is totally ineffective for any success to follow through. And I found it really disheartening that I was trying to do things properly, but there was probably nobody registered because there wasn't any benefit and you were just penalised for trying to do the right thing.
Can I just add to that? In the Borough of Westminster, just an opinion, and from what I can see, it seems like they were piloting, they were testing in the Borough of Westminster how it would work. So it seems like it was a test, and it's been a few years now that it's been the case in the Borough of Westminster. And I think what it has shown is what Samuel said, that they can't police it. They haven't got the manpower to police it. And I have heard from several people who have salons in the Borough of Westminster who also have, in the same borough, non-standard salons, whereby the council actually can't afford to close them down, haven't got the power to close them down, so it just seems like such a waste. So, and I think that's probably why other councils, other boroughs haven't been involved in continuing that across the board and trying to get them to do the same thing. It hasn't worked.
It's another example of we've got the paperwork to make it look good, but nobody's to follow it through and police it and make it actually happen.
But this is the problem. I mean, if we're going to do it seriously, and we're all, especially I think everybody here, you guys being here, we're all interested in ensuring the highest quality standards that we can. We're amongst all of our fellow professionals and amongst all of our customers. So the idea is there. It is real. We all support it. But it's about the reality of making sure that it can come off right. Westminster's been doing it for, as Georgie mentions, for years. Take, the licensing thing, it generates some revenue for them, but it doesn't mean anything in the end. So in essence, in almost in a lot of ways, backfires because it provides a false sense of security. And Marion hit on an interesting point a little bit earlier, which was about trade organizations. The only real way something like this is going to really work is to get something like a trade organization together that would be able to get to be able to be big enough to do consumer awareness advertising, to do policing, but that, guys, requires money, and that, guys, requires nail professionals to put their money where their mouth is.
So can I just say, having been involved with the ANT up until its recent closure, the ANT at one point had over 2,500 members, and when it closed in October we were down to probably less than 300 people, because eventually when there's no funding that's coming in, you can't support a membership. And when you've got an income coming in of probably, I think we probably had a few £1,000s a year, you can't support the staff, you can't support anything in the industry, you've got no finance to push forward, and without the technicians actually wanting to be part of a trade association. And we had stands at every show, we could not attract people, no matter what we did, and we were just sort of fighting a losing battle, really. Yeah,
and I think that most trade organizations, a lot of trade organizations that have gone through this situation where they sort of hit a critical mass, and then people start going, well, what's my fee getting me? What am I getting for my membership fee or my dues? And if people aren't perceiving that they're receiving value for that, then it will fall apart. So there's a chicken or the egg scenario where you need enough critical mass to be able to have large enough revenue that could be managed to provide value for everybody, consumer awareness, I don't know, standards, but I just don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't think it will.
I think this is one of those that we could go on forever, and I can certainly think of another 10 things to say about it, but I would like to get some more questions out there to discuss, unless anybody has a burning desire to add anything about the e-files or licensing. Now, maybe we'll touch back on those with some other questions. So I'll move on to the next one if I can. What is the most suitable nail extension system to learn first And should you complete a manicure course before learning nail extensions? So that's 2 in 1. If I can take the second part first, which is, should you complete a manicure course before learning nail extensions? Clara?
I'm a great believer that if you want to do something, you should do it properly, and for me that means starting at the beginning, which is manicure training. However, Lena White OPI, we used to have a rule that nobody could do enhancement training until they had done manicure and pedicure training. However, other companies who do the same sort of training as us don't necessarily follow that rule of thumb, and to compete with these people and to obviously survive as a training centre, we have had to go down the route of offering enhancement training to non-trained, non-manicure trained technicians. I don't think, depending on the course, it's necessarily a bad thing. I think if your enhancement course offers really good theory about contraindications, your product knowledge, diseases, disorders, so on and so forth, then I don't think it's no bad thing. However, from the student's point of view, I think you're immediately on a back foot because you have got no basic skills, and I think that it takes you longer to pick it up, and I think that you end the course a poorer technician than you would have been if you'd have started at the beginning. So that's my opinion.
I think anybody that obviously educates, for whichever nail company it is, at Young Nails we've always really stipulated that college training on natural nail anatomy, we can never ever compete with that. I mean, they spend 8 weeks just concentrating on describing a nail, you know, and it isn't a bad thing. However, as a company and product-wise, we're there to teach people how to use this product. We would never ever recommend anyone come to us without any sort of natural nail knowledge. However, college training is definitely the best step, I think. I have quite opinions on this really, because I can see both sides of the coin. As an educator, yes, I can see the benefits of doing manicure, moving on through each stage of becoming a nail technician, etc, etc. As a salon owner, I expect all my girls to have manicure and nail technology. With the MVQ for nail extensions, you do nail anatomy, so yes, they do cover the nail anatomy in the MVQ. I have girls that work for me that are nail technicians that hate manicure. I have manicurists that hate doing nail extensions. So they are individual treatments in their own right, but I also see how they go hand to hand. As in, for training, they've got the basic manicure, so they understand about the natural nail, so they respect the natural nail before going on to nail extensions. I also understand the reverse side, as in, if you're a nail technician, what to do with those people when they soak off the nail extensions, and the manicure is fantastic then to help them feed and grow and feed that nail and get them healthy again afterwards. So there's a flip side to both, you know, it's both sides on that. Commercially, we could go around in circles this one forever, and it would be interesting to see what everyone thinks of that. But they are totally separate treatments, but they do go hand in hand as well. And I think it's one of those we're never going to get the perfect scenario on this.
Can I ask the audience, how many of you learned natural nails before you learned how to do enhancements? Most. Yeah. How many the other way round? Okay, can I ask you another question? How many of you believe you should do natural nail training first? About the same number, really. Does anybody have any comments about that? Sheesh.
No, of course it's important, it's part of our business, but I don't actually believe that there is a proper way as opposed to an improper way. And I don't believe that if you do manicure first, it's any more beneficial than doing manicure second if you're doing enhancements as your main treatment. I trained to be a nail technician 6 years ago. I didn't want to do manicures. I hated manicures. And, you know, doing a nice manicure isn't rocket science. And it wasn't for many years that I actually learned all the booms and the, you know, circulation and all of this sort of thing. And I don't think it did my career any harm at all not to know that stuff. And as far as nail disorders and diseases, apart from 2 or 3 that we actually see in the nail salon, the rest are nothing to do with us. We're not allowed to treat them. We're not allowed to diagnose them. We're not allowed to give an opinion on something that is some sort of weird nail disorder or disease that